All right. I've already talked about the flashy ones in this Player of the Week drop. I made a whole video on Rafinha, broke down how that through passing skill makes him a creator. I talked about Vinicius Jr. and how his pace can destroy pay to win defenders. But now we need to talk about the one card nobody is really paying enough attention to. The one card that doesn't look crazy on the surface, but completely changes how your team performs. The one card that, if you're free to play, might actually be the best pick in this entire pack. Declan Rice. And I'm telling you right now, this Player of the Week, Declan Rice plays like an epic CMF. Not because of hype, not because of rating, but because of how he actually performs in game. Because this is not a highlights card, this is not a flashy dribbler, this is not someone you're using for clips, this is a control card. The type of player that silently dominates the game without you even noticing at first. And then after a few matches, you start realizing, yeah, this guy is doing everything for my team. Because let's be honest, most players look at Player of the Week drops and immediately focus on attackers. They want pace, they want dribbling, they want goals, they want that instant impact. But what they don't realize is that most matches are not decided by who has the flashiest attacker. They're decided by who controls the midfield, who wins the ball back quicker, who stops attacks before they even become dangerous. And that's exactly where Rice comes in. Because from the moment you load into a match with him, you start to feel his presence, and it's not subtle, it's constant. 91 defensive engagement, 89 aggression, 87 tackling. These are not just numbers. This is behavior. This is how the card reacts in game. He's always stepping forward, always closing gaps, always putting pressure on the opponent. And it feels like your opponent has less time on the ball, like they can't breathe, like every pass they make is under pressure. And that's because Rice is constantly there, cutting off angles, intercepting passes, forcing mistakes. And this is something that doesn't show up in highlights but wins you matches consistently. Now add 94 stamina on top of that, and this is where it becomes unfair because a lot of midfielders can press, a lot of midfielders can defend, but very few can do it for the entire match without slowing down. Rice does not stop. First half he's pressing, second half he's still pressing. 99th minute, he's still chasing everything like the game just started. And that level of consistency is what separates good cards from elite ones. Because in tight matches, in those sweaty games where every small mistake matters, having a player that is always active gives you a huge advantage. And then you look at his speed. 88 speed for a defensive midfielder type player is actually very good. Because it means he's not just sitting in one spot, waiting for the game to come to him. He can actually move. He can cover wide areas, he can track runners, he can recover when your defense gets exposed. And this is where he becomes different from a lot of other midfielders because some are strong defensively but feel slow. Some are fast but lack defensive presence. Rice gives you both, and that balance is what makes him so effective in different systems. Now let's talk about something a lot of people overlook. What happens after you win the ball? Because winning the ball is only half the job. If you win it and immediately lose it again, you've done nothing. And this is where Rice really stands out because with 88 tight possession, he's actually comfortable on the ball. He doesn't panic. He doesn't just clear it randomly. He can control it, turn, and make the right decision. And that's what allows you to transition from defense to attack smoothly instead of constantly being under pressure. And this is where his 91 kicking power becomes very interesting because now he's not just a defensive player, he actually has some offensive threat. You give him space outside the box, he can shoot. And those shots have power. They force the goalkeeper to react. They create rebounds, they create chaos. And even if he's not scoring every time, he's still contributing to your attack in a meaningful way. Now let's be honest. He's not perfect. He's not the most creative passer. He's not going to unlock defenses with insane through balls. He's not a dribbler that's going to glide past players. And he's not a flashy goal scorer, but that's not his role. His role is to make your entire team better. And he does that perfectly. Because when you have a player like Rice in your midfield, everything becomes easier. Your defense feels safer because, he's there to clean up mistakes. Your attack starts quicker because he wins the ball higher up the pitch. Your overall gameplay feels more controlled because you're not constantly reacting. You're just dictating the pace of the match.